welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and today's video is going to be me reading 4 thriller books. So I'm really getting into the thriller genre at the moment and I'm really wanting to read a lot more of it, discover some new authors and really find like what I enjoy in a thriller. So before I get into the video, before I tell you the books that I'm going to be reading, please remember to like the video if you enjoy it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. I post videos every Sunday. So let's get into the video. So the 4 books I'm going to be reading, a couple of these authors I've read from before and some of them are brand new authors to me, so we're going to see how we get on with them. So the first one I'm going to be reading is The Escape by Ruth Kelly. This is a brand new author to me. I don't know too much about this one other than Francesca from Francesca's Books really loves this. I get a lot of my thriller recommendations from her, so I'd highly recommend checking her out if you're wanting to explore this genre. I'm also going to be reading The Woman Who Lied by Claire Douglas. I've read 2 Claire Douglas books prior to this one and I've really enjoyed both of them, so I'm excited to get into this one. Again, I don't really know too much about this one. That's kind of what I like about thriller books. I don't like to know too much going in. Like, I sort of read the synopsis when I'm interested in the book and then add it to my want to read list, but before I go into it, I don't tend to reread the synopsis. I want to go in sort of like not knowing a lot. So the next one I'm going to be reading is Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari LaPena. I haven't read from this author before, but I've heard that she's a very good thriller author, so I'm excited to check one of her books out. And then finally I'm going to be reading I See You by Claire McIntosh. I read I Let You Go at the start of this year, gave it 5 stars, so I'm definitely interested in reading this author's backlist. So I have actually now started reading The Escape by Ruth Kelly and I'm really enjoying this one so far. So I'm on page 258, so I've only got just over about 150 pages left, or maybe even just under 150 pages. So in this one we're following a couple and her sister, so we're mainly reading from the sister's perspective. The couple are an influencer couple. They're called Adele and Jack, and one day Adele posts online. She's only got about 5,000 YouTube subscribers. I'm saying only 5,000, like that's way more than I've got. She's got 5,000 subscribers and she really wants to like make influencing into her job. Her and Jack are also having some relationship problems. It's implied that like Jack has cheated and there's something else going on that we're not really sure of what at the moment. Adele is very spoiled. She was very spoiled growing up. She sort of still thinks that she's entitled to everything, you know, for free, and she finds this like French chalet online for a heavily reduced price because it needs a lot of work doing, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding this chalet. She posts a YouTube video, sets up a GoFundMe and asks people to donate money so that they can buy this chalet. She gets a lot of backlash online. Obviously people are sort of like, you know, if you want something you have to earn it, blah blah blah. And then she gets a mysterious email from a mysterious benefactor offering to pay for the chalet and put it in their name, but there's a few rules they must follow. And she dismisses this email, thinks it's a troll, and then the solicitor for this man or woman turns up on her doorstep and it's a real offer. It's too good to be true, really. You can kind of tell that, and Adele has got some hesitations, but Jack really wants to go. He says, you know, this is the only way we're going to be able to do this. If you want to do this, we're going to have to do it this way. The start of this book is where Adele and Jack have actually gone missing. Erin, Adele's sister, has flown out to France because Adele's not responding to any messages. Their mum has got terminal cancer and doesn't really have long left, so she's come to sort of bring Adele home and then discovers she's actually gone missing. Now that's the premise of this, and there's so much going on in here. So we've got a perspective of the past with Adele who's exploring this chalet, and there's a lot of creepy stuff going on in with this chalet. There's a lot of like secret rooms and things don't quite add up, you know, creepy noises and all that kind of stuff. And then when Erin goes to the town to ask questions about her sister, everyone's very like standoffish, no one wants to talk to her. They're all sort of hiding something. I have to say, like, I was kind of thinking maybe this is going to be like a generic, you know, missing person story. I have to say the sort of the twist that we've just had, I was not expecting that. This has gone in a direction that I was really not expecting, in a good way. Like, we're learning a lot about the history of the chalet and it's dark. It's really dark. I'm not going to say what it is because that's a massive spoiler, but maybe check out trigger warnings. If you can be triggered by things, I would definitely check them out. If you're not, then don't, because you don't want to spoil yourself for this twist. It's absolutely, yeah, I was sort of reading it thinking like, what the beep? Like, yeah, amazing. I was not expecting that. I'm loving the creepy atmosphere, like the chalet, the history of the chalet, you know, we're learning things, like we've learned a bit about it now. It's really creepy, and then like the actual modern day atmosphere of the chalet is also really creepy. You've got people who are, you know, like the gardener's just sort of like been watching Adele. He doesn't seem to be doing any gardening. It's creeping her out. You know, the people in the town are very standoffish, even to Adele. There's a couple of people that are quite friendly to her, but they don't really want to be in her videos, which is fair enough. You know, not everyone wants to post themselves online. some people just want some privacy, which is fair enough. But it's more like they don't want her to be posting about the chalet. And then there's the whole thing with the mysterious benefactor. We don't know who it is. Adele and Jack don't know who it is. All they've really had communication with is the lawyer, and then things sort of have started happening with that. And yeah, I think we're really starting to ramp up now. I'm really excited to finish this one. I'm absolutely flying through it. Like, I read those 250 pages last night. I just couldn't put the book down. I was sort of like, I don't want to go to bed, but I thought I need to stop now before we get like even sort of deeper into the mess that's going to happen. But yeah, this one's really good so far, and I am definitely gonna be checking out this author's other works once I finish this one. But yeah, really excited to get this one finished. Not the sort of update I was really hoping to give. I have now finished The Escape by Ruth Kelly. I'm gonna give this one 3 stars. So I personally think that the ending was quite unsatisfying, and I understand that not everything can be wrapped up in a, you know, cute little neat bow where everything's resolved. But I do find sometimes with thrillers, when you have like a sort of open ending, that it kind of takes away and ruins the whole book. Like, the whole point of it is that, like, you know, these horrible things happen, and then you get some kind of resolution. And we did get some kind of resolution, but not the resolution I was wanting. And it almost felt like there was 2 different books, 2 different things going on in this book that were related to each other. Obviously, like I said, there was the twist. So you had, you know, Adele's disappearance, and then you have this massive twist that is related to that. And it felt like they were almost then separated out, and we just kind of forgot about one of them. And try not to like give away what happens, but basically like one of the sort of main plot points was just kind of left quite open-ended. And honestly, I think like the epilogue ruined it. It was still fun, like I still had a fun time, but 3 stars is still a good rating. It's not a bad rating. Like, I enjoyed it, it was good, but it wasn't like spectacular amazing like the first sort of 60% of this was. Like, when my last update, I think I was just over halfway. Well, yeah, I only had about 150 pages left, so I was maybe like 70% through. And yeah, this was just sort of, it felt like 2 different books. So I'm glad I've read it. It was really cool atmosphere. We did get some sort of conclusion, but it just wasn't as satisfying as I was hoping it would be. And for me, that can kind of like make or break a thriller book. If the ending isn't as satisfying as I expect it to be, not even in the way that like I'm right or anything, it's more like if it's left too open, I'm just kind of like, no. So yeah, 3 stars for this one, which isn't a bad rating, still good. If it sounds interesting to you, I would still recommend it, but just if you're like me and you don't like sort of open endings, maybe this isn't the one for you. So we're going to go for a bit of a different vibe thriller-wise now. We're going to go for Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari LaPena. I don't know anything about this one, apart from it's like set in like a rich neighbourhood, so I think it's like a little bit of a different vibe. So yeah, I will start reading this one, and I'll check back in with you guys when I can give you a bit of a synopsis and my initial thoughts. So I've got a reading update for you guys. So I did start reading Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari LaPena, and I did DNF this one 40 pages in. So for me, it was just the writing style. It felt very much like William did this, and then Nora did that, and then this person did this, and this person did that. And it was just, I kind of felt like I was reading an instruction manual rather than a book. There wasn't really too much description, and the story didn't sort of hook me in. I was just kind of like, I don't want to read this. So this one, we follow it's quite a few different perspectives, but at the start of this book, the father of a family, William, he is having an affair with one of the neighbours, Nora, and then Nora calls it off at the hotel that they meet at. William goes home, and his daughter Avery is home, and she shouldn't be home. She should be at like choir practice or something. And he's obviously had some, you know, his girlfriend's broken up with him, he's not very happy, and he ends up hitting his daughter because his daughter's being a bit naughty. And then William drives off, and then later in the evening, when his son gets home and the mother gets home, Avery she's gone missing, and they report it to the police, and that's kind of where I got up to. So obviously William was the last person to probably see her, and he hit her. We don't know what happened after that. And I was just, yeah, it was just a bit like William did this, and then Nora said this to the police officer, and blah blah, and it just, I didn't really like the writing style, so I just sort of knew that I wasn't really going to enjoy this one. It might be an interesting story, but yeah, I just didn't enjoy the writing style, so I decided not to continue with this one. So I then picked up I See You by Claire McIntosh, and I am already enjoying this one a lot more than I did the previous one. I'm about 120 pages in. So again, we're following 2 different perspectives. So we've got the police officer perspective of Kelly, and then we've got like our sort of normal person perspective of Zoe. Kelly works for the like transport police. She does a lot of, this is set in London, I think, so she does a lot of things regarding the tube. She's investigating a few things that coincide with now a murder investigation, and Zoe's tied up in this. So Zoe gets the tube sort of every day to and from work, and she's got a lot of sort of family things going on, but basically she gets the tube and she's reading like the Gazette one day, and there's a ad in the back where sort of like all the escorts ads and that are, and it's just her face. A couple of days later or something, there's a woman there, and then the next night she's murdered. And then there's another woman who then had like her keys stolen. So Zoe contacts the police, and she's sort of tied into Kelly. She sort of speaks with Kelly quite a lot. Basically, she's scared for her life. She doesn't know what's going to happen to her. She has no idea why her picture's in the paper. And then, like I said, one of the women in the adverts does end up murdered, and Kelly is linked to the investigation because of Zoe contacting her, because it was to do with the tube, and she's part of the transport police. And then Kelly has some like PTSD, but not from something that happened to her. So her twin was sexually assaulted back in university, and she seems to suffer a lot of PTSD from this. I think hearing the graphic ordeal that her twin sister went through was a bit too much for her. And then something has happened in her career prior to this that we're not really too sure of, but nobody really wants to like promote her or get her into the investigation kind of thing. And then Zoe, the woman in one of the adverts, so she's got 2 children, a young boy and a young girl. Well, I say a young boy, the boy's 22 years old, the girl's 18 years old, and she's split from the father. There seems to be a bit of animosity between her old bloke and her new bloke. And then Justin, her son, seems to be getting a bit of trouble with the police, but not for a few years. He's got a shoplifting record, so like he's struggling to find employment. And yeah, I'm not really sure what's going to go on with like the family drama. Obviously there's like a young girl, she's a bit afraid for the girl's safety kind of thing in London. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one so far. We also have another perspective, but not too often, and it's obviously of the person who's putting these ads in, because it's like, I see you, I'm watching you, how fast can you run in those heels kind of thing, which is a bit creepy. But yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to resolve, what's going to happen here. Obviously I don't want anything to happen to Zoe, I don't want anything to happen to anyone, but obviously it's a thriller book, something's going to happen. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one. Claire Mackintosh's writing is really lovely, like really pulls you in, really grips you into the story. And yeah, it was a really fast read for me. Like I sort of flew through those 120 odd pages. Yeah, really enjoying this one, and glad I picked this one up. I definitely am more interested in this one than I was the Shari LaPenna one. I don't think I'm gonna try any more Shari LaPenna books. It's just not, I just don't think her writing style's for me, but Claire Mackintosh definitely is. So I finished the next book for this reading vlog, which is I See You by Claire Mackintosh. I'm just gonna sort of come out and say it, this definitely wasn't as good as her previous book, I Let You Go, but I think she's going to struggle to top that, unless she's going to, I don't know, she might blow it out of the water in one of her next ones. This was still really good, so I gave this one 4 stars. The plot of this one in the middle kind of felt like we weren't really going anywhere. We were sowing seeds as to who was behind the website, with all the details about the commutes and stuff, and who was targeting these women. And I will say the twist at the end, I didn't really see that one coming either. So yeah, Claire Mackintosh did blow it out of the water again with this one, but for me it just doesn't top I Let You Go, so therefore it's a 4 star for me. But yeah, her writing was really compelling. This was really fun to read, like really creepy, and really gets you thinking as well. Like I think the day after I finished this I had like a bit of a nightmare about being chased down on the tube and stuff. So yeah, this definitely got me thinking as well. So yeah, I'd highly recommend this author if you haven't already checked her out. And so I'm now going to move on to the last book for this reading vlog, which is going to be The Woman Who Lied by Claire Douglas. Hey guys, so I'm just checking back in to give you a reading update and then wrap this reading vlog up. So I have started and finished reading The Woman Who Lied by Claire Douglas, and I think I'm going to give this one a 4 stars. So this one follows our main character Amelia, and she's a best-selling crime author. She has a 10-book long series, currently 9 are published, and she's currently writing the last one, following a detective called Madeline Moody, I think, or Miranda Moody. So Amelia has a child with a guy called Jonas, her ex-husband. She has a child with her current husband Elliot, and the father-in-law is quite close to them, and there's quite a few characters that are good friends with her that are all in this story. So weird things start happening. So she's currently writing her 10th book, and currently only a few people have read this, including like her publisher, her agent, and a few family members and close friends, because she wants people's opinions on what she's writing. And strange things start happening to her and her family that all come from her novels. So for example, one of the things that happens is some like weird troll dolls get hung outside a tree outside her house, and this happens to the detective in one of the books, and there's a few other things as well. And then things start happening that are in her unpublished novel. So whoever's taunting her has read her novel and is a close family member. Now, we also get snippets about a serial killer called the Praying Mantis Killer. So these chapters about the Praying Mantis murderer are from her novel, so we sort of read the novel and then we're reading the current timeline. And I do think I did enjoy this one, but I think the ending of this one was a little bit too similar to I See You by Claire Mackintosh, and obviously I've only just read that one, because I was reading this one and I was just like, I've read this before, it's the same ending. Obviously that story was very different. It was just more of the fact that like who was accused, who was a suspect kind of thing, and they were all very similar. So for me, my enjoyment of this book was like a 3-star, but that's because I read this too close to another book that was kind of similar. So I'm going to give it a 4 stars because I did really enjoy the writing. I really did enjoy the suspense of like who did it. I really enjoyed the characters in this one. It was interesting to follow a sort of crime writer. Obviously it's a bit like on the nose. Obviously Claire Douglas is a thriller author, but yeah, I did enjoy this one. I do enjoy Claire Douglas as an author. I'd highly recommend. She has a bit of a backlist as well if you're looking to get into a thriller author that has quite a few books out. It just wasn't my favourite of hers. I think my favourite is still The Couple at Number 9. So yeah, that's not a criticism of this book. It's just the fact that I read 2 books quite similar to each other, and I read another thriller book recently as well, and I just kind of, I'm not getting bored of the genre. Like I am still like really enjoying my thrillers, but I think I'm reading too many that are quite similar to each other, so I'm trying to find some that are like a little bit out there. I've heard John Mars is quite good at like writing sort of very different psychological thrillers, so I think I'll give him another go. But yeah, I did enjoy this one. So yeah, for this vlog we read The Escape, which I gave 3 stars. I read I See You by Claire Mackintosh, which I gave 4 stars. I DNF Everyone Here Is Lying by Shari LaPenna. That was just the writing style wasn't for me. And then obviously The Woman Who Lied got a 4 stars. Yeah, that's going to be it for this reading vlog. Comment down below if you've read any of these books. I'd love to know your opinion on them. Also let me know any recommendations for some good thriller authors. I'm always on the lookout. Don't forget to like this video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.